What's good, everybody? Today we'll be checking out my official remix. Oh, no, it's not official. My bootleg remix of Akon's Banaza, in brackets, Belly Dancer. Absolute 2000s classic. I'm going to be breaking down what went into it, like production-wise, sample-wise, processing-wise, mixing, etc, etc.
Hey ladies, drop it down. Just wanna see you touch the ground.
Into... If you don't know with bootlegs, the first step is to get the acapella. Fingers crossed there was an actual studio version that got leaked or released to the public. We should download that. Or you can find like an acapella that someone made using software. There's like AI techniques, there's phase inversion techniques, but you need the instrumental, etc, etc. I found a pretty clean acapella. The thing is, with this track, it was B flat minor. Why? Who writes EDM, drum and bass, whatever in B flat minor? You don't want your drop to hit like B flat, you want it to hit like D sharp, E, F, F sharp, all the good frequencies. So I had to pitch the vocal down 4 semitones to, I think, F, for F sharp. And I had to do a lot of warping as well to get the vocal in line with the new tempo of 174. It was 106-ish originally. So original with a little bit of warping.
Excuse me, beg your pardon, girl. Do you have any idea what you're starting, girl? You got me tingling, come to me mingling, stepping off, looking bootylicious.
So it didn't sound too weird, but it was definite, like, wow, you can tell this is a remix because it's way lower. And also sampled bits from the original right here. Also had to be pitched down to the new key. A little bit of a high cut. Just meant to fill in the background, so high frequencies, whatnot. Reverb, overdrive, delay, sidechain, soothe, because that little sine lead in the top was annoying, so it needed quite a lot of resonance, so it didn't like pierce through the mix too much. So yeah, with the song loop, so more EQ cutting, get rid of that bass, delay, reverb, and whatever the hell that's doing.
Beg your pardon, girl.
I'm making it louder. Why didn't I just turn it up there? I don't know. So hoping to creatively introduce little bits and pieces of the original into the drum and bass remix at the new tempo. So acapella, key, fitting into the song, warping if necessary, and pitch shift if necessary.
Excuse me, beg your pardon.
In terms of vocal processing, the acapella was pretty good. A little bit of EQ, no bass, Gelfos to make it extra silky smooth, just tame it a little bit, those high-end frequencies. Delay, reverb, more delay in certain parts of the track. Like when you go into kind of, that's not the chorus, it's the pre-chorus. Into the pre-chorus section. I forgot I did a little low pass on that bit. For the chorus when it hits. A little extra layer I wanted to do with the vocal is introduce a vocoder. So duplicate this channel, chucked in a vocoder external. It's being fed from this sound source, which is this super interesting saw wave patch doing one note, but it sounds pretty cool. Extra layer, no bass, saturator, OTT, a little bit wider, and sidechain. So all the chorus vocals together.
Hey ladies, drop it down. Just wanna see you touch the ground. Don't be shy, girl, go Banaza. Shake your body like a belly dancer.
That is fundamentally using the original song to craft the basis of the bootleg. Now it's time for all the other additional stuff that I added. Drums, nothing too fancy, used a lot of the latest sample pack, Antidote audio equilibrium. And yeah, the drums came in clutch. Just chopped up bits from the loops that I wanted to use, kick snare wise. That is a big extra doof on the snare. A little bit more spice and some cymbals. And of course, a shitload of saturator on the drums. Classic, why not? I like having little break sections, not necessarily like drum breaks, but rests from parts of the drums. And then bring back in the kick snare. That's mostly the main kick and snare, nothing too crazy. Obviously, low pass filter on the kick for the build. We'll get into the drop shortly. And then for the intro, also some hip hop drums. cobalt drums this time. And then of course introduce. Bit more percussion, slam and 808.
Excuse me, beg your pardon, do you have any?
If you're thinking by now, just play the full song already, Sam. Don't worry, I will at the end. Don't worry, I'm just gonna leave you high and dry. Do I really need to brush over effects? Rises in all the important parts to introduce new sections. Backing effects, alarms, sirens, sweeps. More rises, more sweeps, you get the idea. Backing effects are super crucial. I shouldn't be rushing over it, but I don't want to rush over the importance of backing effects. Help fill in the empty space in the background. I'll see if I can do it before and after.
Ladies, drop it down. Just wanna see you touch the ground. Don't be shy, girl, go
I mean, it's alright. Chucking some effects.
drop it down.
Crashes.
See you touch
Alarm sounds.
Don't be shy, girl, go
Rises.
Shake your body like a belly dancer.
Orchestrate the flow and tell the listeners what's coming up, what I should be jamming, and etc, etc. Anyway, let's get into basses and synths. That's what we got left. Basses mostly from Equilibrium once again, but there is a pretty cool 808. There's this 808 which started off very clean and I added some distortion to it. It's also, I don't know if I edited it as well. If you want this 808, antidoteaudio.com/freebies. Leave a link in the description as well. I think I did edit that a little bit, but yeah, that's what it sounds like originally before the effects are added. I wanted that kind of old school jungle, the distorted 808, saturate and overdrive, chuck distortion at it. That's all I could think of. Next is, like I said, Equilibrium bass. Just a bass loop chopped out how I wanted it for this verse, nothing too crazy. It had the perfect kind of tones I was going for. Otherwise it would have been a serum, kind of make it from scratch kind of sound, because it's simple enough to make. Dialing in the right distortion is the hard part. See, it's kind of just mids heavy at the moment. Don't worry, we've got a sub underneath that. Increase the high frequencies into the next verse. A few chops and a few tones. This is the original. See, super gritty, all the right tones there, just needed to carve it and shape it to this bootleg. Also the sub in here, which was pretty tasty, but I did a few adjustments there. Mainly more sub, a bit more tone to the sub, and then low pass filter. Then a few EQ notches here, because a couple of the harmonics, not like the fundamental there. The next one was a little bit too pronounced, so had to go in with an EQ twice and dip that out. But it really complements this main kind of low pass bass here. That's pretty much the verses, nothing too crazy. Want to keep it quite simple before the mayhem comes in through the drop. Just quickly gliding over the verse. Another kind of synth loop just chopped up from our Antidote audio pack. Bit more, a little bit empty. Bit more going on in the verse with those added. Not occupying that much frequency space, but they're definitely helping with adding the energy and whatnot. Alright, let's crack on into the drop. Mostly just chopped from this. Pitched at one semitone because the original bass was an F. A little bit of some mid-side EQ going on here, mostly just to tame the sides and have a little bit of a boost here, but it all is all being fed into this main kind of channel, which has, that doesn't do anything, ozone trash on it, which is supplying a lot of the character, and of course overdrive with the setting, a bit more sub coming through. I should say a bit more mids coming through actually, and make sure the bass was mono because I think it was, yeah, a little bit too wide for this one. Lots of sidechain as well. No, it sounds a bit weird without sidechain. It's got more bounce to it. sidechain, supplying the bounce since whenever the fuck was this going. Probably in the 90s. FM growl, yeah. Where was that original? Guys, I didn't even know. I have a feeling it's from something that I freeze flattened. That is filthy though. Anyway, that was made with FM8. No effects processing on that because it's feeding through into the main channel. It's going through trash, overdrive, and then, yeah, that's it. And then another kind of loop chop into the second part of the chorus, which is the more kind of 8s. Do classic DMB. I forgot to mention on trash, literally all that's happening is one distortion model. You can find it in distort. Clip control. That's why I learned Noisy used all the time in their old stuff. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to use that as well. That sounds sick. Can I big up myself for a second? That drum transition though. Ooh, cheeky fool. Gone for the bounce pattern, drum and bass pattern, fast cymbals, new section. Oh, simple things in the mix. I like how I've only covered like the intro verse and the pre-chorus and drop, but that's literally all it is to the song. I was just working with the different verses. That's it, and bounce into another chorus. And then a bridge, which is kind of recycled from the intro. New bits of the acapella. Hip hop drums. But getting doubled up with the main kick snare from the drop. And then you got the main vocal coming over the second part of the drop. Just to add a bit of difference. So that is that. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about either bootlegs or drum and bass or Akon. Let's hear the track start to finish. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and see ya!